Hi, I'm Robin Boyce, and welcome to City Corner. We've got some great information coming your way from the E-Square Young Engineers, and guess what? Some great information about what's going on with the Metropolitan Sewer District. Come on back. So glad you could join us here in our studios. Hi, I'm Robin Boyce, and this is our next episode of City Corner, and I'm so glad you could join us this morning. In the studios with me, first up for our first segment, are Mr. Christopher Young L., who is the owner of E-Square Young Engineers, also his office manager, who's very efficient and always on top of things, and I just love her, Miss Tara Roberts. Thank you so much to both of you for coming on. You came on probably last year sometime to talk about this wonderful opportunity that you've been able to present to the St. Louis region, actually. So please tell us again, what is E-Square Engineers, Young Engineers?
Well, E-Square Young Engineers is a pre-K through 9th grade Lego-based program that uses Lego and Connect blocks to teach the concepts of math, science, engineering, and technology in a format that they call edutainment, where it's combining education with entertainment. And so the kids love it, parents love it, and like you said, we're in our almost second year.
Yes.
And we've had some substantial growth since the first time we won.
Yeah, you were starting out in churches and community centers at first. Where are you moving into now?
So we're still in with a church doing a program called The Village out in Berkeley. We have a new relationship with the Ferguson Community Center, which we absolutely love. It's like being at home.
Excellent. That's a nice center out there.
Yeah,
very nice. Used to be a Catholic school and a Catholic church, and they just expand. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we love the relationship. It's a very sufficient situation for us, regardless if we have one kid or if we have 100. They make the space. There's no issue. It's what do you need, and they get right on top of it. We have also branched, luckily, into the Boy Scouts of St. Louis. So we provide the engineering and robotics badges, and we also provide their adventure badges for their 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And we're hoping to branch into the Girl Scouts to introduce the engineering program to them. We have a program with the Biome School through their Learning Center, which is a charter school in Midtown St. Louis. And one of the contracts I'm happy about is we've just become a vendor for the 21st Century program in the Normandy School District.
Awesome. So you all are gradually moving into the school systems as well, and making a huge difference. When it comes to little girls, we now see a really big push in branding math and engineering. Are you finding young ladies wanting to get involved with this project?
That's something has been difficult for us to.
Really?
Yes, we have two young ladies that are in our Ferguson Community Center program. She's going into her 2nd session, and then the other, she just started her session. So that is my mission, to try to get girls involved. I've spoken with the Girl Scouts in hopes of getting a partnership with them so they could get the girls more involved with STEM-based concepts.
Yes. So are you able to, you actually are collaborating and moving kids toward that whole possibility of being able to get engineering jobs in the future. Because a lot of young people don't understand that they need engineers if they work for Laclede Gas or Metropolitan Sewer District or Ameren UE. They don't understand that you need those kinds of skill sets as well when it comes to working in any kinds of different jobs here in the St. Louis area.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And what we're finding out is a lot of our children, when we talk to them, when they say engineers, they don't understand that you can be a chemical engineer, you could be an electronic engineer, you could be a civil engineer. They don't understand the broad ranges of jobs that are encompassed under the title of engineering. So our goal is to increase engineering, but as an educator, for me, it's also to get more people more involved in the math, the science, and the technology piece. So if we don't get them into STEM-related jobs as outside of the educational field, is to increase the number of those who teach STEM-based situations in the K-12 situation.
Now, this is a concept that, tell us your beginnings when this all happened. I found that very interesting how you all just fell into this situation.
Yes.
And it just grew and morphed. Give us a little bit of history.
Well, we were initially, we have some, Tara and I have been very, or our organization, we actually have a board that's part of another organization. We're working on a charter school concept.
Right.
And so in trying to find activities that were hands-on and engaging for our student population, we ran across E Squared. And so when we contacted them, they didn't have a rep in the United States in the Metro East area at all.
Interesting.
And so the gentleman asked me, said, well, would you be interested in bringing the E Squared concept to the metropolitan area? Of course, at that time, I was very adventurous. Didn't have the money, but I was adventurous anyway. And so we took a shot, and it has been very beneficial. There are some difficulties with any business getting recruitment. We're finding that a lot of our the kids in the urban areas, the parents are just honestly are opting out for sports-based programs. And
Tell me about it.
instead
of difficulty.
Right, and getting their kids involved in engineering-based programs. So that's one of the fights. But it's been, like I said, with the biome contract, the Normandy School District contract, because through the 21st Century contract, we have the preschool, early childhood center, all of their elementary schools and the middle school, but we're not going to touch the middle school because our goal is to build the foundational skills from the pre-K to the elementary level, so that when they hit the middle school, those other upper level engineering programs, the kids will have the base level concepts and understanding so that they're successful with those. So now we're just waiting on the second organization that's the mediator between us and the Normandy School District to kind of give us the green light to go ahead.
Now, when it comes to the programming that you bring into the community centers and some of the different churches, and now with a school district, do teachers come along with this program? Are you looking for individuals that can help you as well in implementing what you're doing?
Well, we do have, right now we have 2 instructors outside of Christopher. We are looking to recruit. We are looking for volunteers at this time to help us continue our program and progression. So we're always looking for anyone. Actually, we did get one person saw us on TV the last time.
Okay.
And she inquired about coming and joining the team.
Great, great. So you actually, this is a volunteer-based kind of a situation for individuals like fraternities or sororities to get involved with?
Yes.
That could come in really, and especially those sorors or the men in the fraternities who might be engineers.
Correct.
Or architects are involved in those areas, or individuals who might be contractors who are involved with that to come and get involved with your program? You're looking for those kind of people?
Who are needing to get their certification, and they need
Okay, so
need
student
hours.
teachers could as well be a part of this and getting that and working towards their certification.
Yes.
Great, great. So when you get a kid really involved in what you're doing, what are some of the comments that you hear from some of the young people when they're working on some of the projects?
Well, the kids, surprisingly for us, most of our come from the parents. Like our Boy Scout parents that were involved, they all say the same thing. We've never seen anything like this program before. We're glad you all put this program on. And with the Boy Scouts, they do a one-shot deal with us. And so after taking some of their feedback, Tara and I sat down with the director for Boy Scouts and said, hey, why don't we offer 10, 12, or 15-week programs to the Boy Scouts that are extensions of their merit badge or adventure badges, because these are the things that the parents are asking us for. The kids simply love it. They go back and tell their other troop members, I earned my adventure badge, you should have been there, get some more guys through. So we're getting a lot of great feedback. But when you get the parents on board to really push it, because though the kids like anything.
They do, they really do.
But when the parents talk about how much they like and they call back to the agencies like the Boy Scouts or the Bayonne parents are calling back saying, at the Bayonne, we have a waiting list for our class. We only take 20, and we're there on Mondays and Thursdays, but we already have waiting lists for the kids that want to be involved in the program.
That is awesome. So individuals are really interested in getting involved.
Yeah.
Parents are the key then to,
Yes.
to branding and advertising and getting this project off the ground for you?
Yes.
Yes.
And so in the process, you're still going to need some help.
Yes.
You know, and so funding, is this a program that needs to be funded, or, you know, is this a for-profit kind of situation that an organization pays for the service?
Well, we got a catch-22 situation
Sure.
going on. We have, since the beginning, we've been operating basically in and out. So our money that comes in turns around and goes right back out. Tara and I are employed, but we are not paid. We basically have scholarshiped about 65% of our services up to this point, because initially for us, it was about getting it out to the kids. Whoever needed and showed a genuine interest in it, we waived costs for kids. We're now going into our second year because we are a franchise. We're now looking at organizations that can kind of help us find funding or can come up and help us fund the program so that we can get it to as many kids as possible.
So this being a franchise, yours is the only franchise then, what, in the region, or?
Well, they slid another one in
Okay.
in the boot heels of Missouri for me. But what
Right.
our goal is to become a master franchise, which at that point we will own the state of Missouri, and then we will franchise out, because my goal is to bring up other franchisees, African American and children of color, and introduce entrepreneurship and franchises to them as a means of earning income and expanding and building wealth for your family.
So people could probably open up like a storefront, for example, that would be the E Square Young Engineers Shop or
Yes.
something.
Right.
And then that organization could then charge parents like tuition
Yes.
to come and be a part of or teach their children these really cool concepts that they get. I mean, Legos, how fun is that?
Right.
To get a chance to play around with Legos and just all day long, or during the process, it's what, an hour, 2 hour long process, or?
It varies. For our smaller kids, it's about 45 minutes. For our older kids, it's about 2 hours. So we've expanded to a robotics program that's about 2.5 hours.
Robotics,
'cause it's
how cool.
Building, programming, designing, and we still have our senior citizens based program where we go out to elderly care facilities and put on workshops for them also.
So senior citizens can get involved as well. They're not, you know, they're very young. They're young enough to
Right.
continue on doing something with their minds,
Yes.
and that's awesome. Does this open up the possibility for young people who are in the past scared of algebra, calculus, to go feel a little bit easier about it?
Yes.
Because they can actually see the concepts take place with the Legos?
That's one of the things that our program provides, is that kids don't understand playing with Legos and counting the number of notches and the number of holes, how important it is in math. And they are learning math without knowing that they're learning math. So now when our conversations with them as they're going through the process, and then they're like, oh, that's math. And I was like, yeah, that's
Wow.
math. That's the missing part. If you put a Lego, a connector in a spot that it doesn't belong, then that means your project is not going to look right. So they have to take it apart, and that's the missing piece.
I want to thank you all both again for coming on the program. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Next time we got to bring some of the projects that we got to get some cameras out to shoot you guys, work with the kids and seeing them in action. I really appreciate you coming on board. We've got the information up on the screen for people to get in contact with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
And we
having
will
us.
be right back with some great information about what's going on with MSD here in St. Louis.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank. If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And welcome back to City Corner. I'm Robin Boyce, and in the studios with me right now is Mr. Lance LeComb, who is a manager of public information for the Metropolitan Sewer District. How you doing, Lance?
I'm great, Robin. How are
Great.
you doing today?
You know, I'm great. I'm good. I'm doing really good. It's a beautiful day. We've had a pretty good month, good rain recently. That helped a lot of things.
Cooling off.
And thinking about rain, I thought of, Metropolitan Sewer District, and I see these guys out all the time, and I said, why don't I get these guys on and talk about more of what this particular district does? Now, I know this is an agency that was formed by Bi-State Development Agency. Am I correct on that?
No, actually, we came about in the 1950s.
Okay.
Wastewater management was just shared amongst too many entities. Just like we have 90 municipalities today, in addition to the city of St. Louis, we
Okay.
are the compilation of 79 separate sewer districts that we have taken in since 1954. And a surprising fact many people don't realize is that even though our metropolitan area, which is the 16, 18 county area on both sides of the river, we're something like 18th, 19th largest metropolitan area, our sewer district, MSD, which just serves the city and 90% of St. Louis County, MSD alone is the 4th largest sewer system in the United States, right behind New York, Chicago, and LA. So we have a very large system relative to the population we serve, because we took in so many sewer districts over the years.
So that's how you've gradually grown then over the years.
Yep.
Because I remember as a baby going with mom or dad to pay the bill or something, and they were in a smaller location. Now you're in this huge location down on Market Street at Jefferson. And this looks like a lot of stuff going on in there all the time. I mean, tell us a little bit about the agency and what it is you do.
So we've obviously been around since 1954. A lot
62 years.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
a lot of our work since then has been about harmonizing that system. When you have that disparate system, so many pieces to it, how do you make it work together?
Right.
And obviously in the 1970s, the Clean Water Act came into being, 1972. A lot of the regulations we're working towards today stem from the Clean Water Act. And our biggest issue that we're focused on right now is addressing what are called sewer overflows and basement backups.
Wow.
And sewer overflows and basement backups is when we have capacity issues in our system. Basement backup, pretty self-explanatory. A sewer overflow is when you have too much rainwater gets in the sewer system, and a combination of rainwater and sewage discharges into a local river or creek. So that's what we're really focused on right now, is really all our activity is focused on addressing those issues right now.
You've got a lot of work going on around in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I think there's one coming up pretty soon south off of that River de Pere area. Something going on over there pretty soon.
Well, we've got tunnel. We've got from small to large going on.
Yeah.
I'll just go from the small in the eastern half of the city. We're doing what we call rainscaping, or some folks call it green infrastructure. A lot of our issues are because over the last 150 years, since the sewers were first built in the 1850s, we have blacktopped over, cemented over so much of our urban landscape, less green space. So we're kind of unwinding that and putting in rain gardens and working with partners to introduce these natural spaces that can manage rainwater and hold it back from our sewer system. So
how does that help, putting more green spaces in?
Well, green space allows the water to percolate into the ground, or it holds it back from our sewer system. It doesn't go into the street and run into the inlet into the sewer system. And because our issues are really capacity related, too much rainwater, that is one way to address those capacity issues. We're also doing projects where we increase the capacity, the actual sewer line in a neighborhood. We've also have bought out some homes that just have chronic basement backups all the time. We're going to build storage basins for that stormwater in those locations. And then we're going to be building several tunnels. Tunnels that, the largest of which, for example, is going to be 9 miles long, run underneath the River de Pere, from just where the River de Pere comes out from underneath Forest Park all the way down to the Mississippi, 9 miles long, almost 30 feet in diameter. So we're going to be
That's
building,
huge.
I believe it's about 9 of those right now, or in total. We've already completed 1. So from small to large, we're doing a lot of work to create all these pieces that fit into one solution, if you would. And that's going to take place over the next couple decades. The initiative overall is called MSD Project Clear, and it's a almost $5 billion agreement we have with the Environmental Protection Agency and the Missouri Coalition for the Environment. So we may be out of sight underground, out of sight, out of mind, but we're doing a lot in the community.
Well, and talking about that, and I just had the E Square Young Engineer Group on before you came on. You're going to be looking for engineers pretty soon. You've got a large retiree base that's going to be moving out, so you're going to be looking for folks, right?
Yeah, E Square got me jazzed up about the work they're doing, because there is a need for engineering, math, those technologies and science skills. And we are an engineer-heavy organization at MSD. And a lot of our employees came on with MSD in the 1970s, or started getting towards their education to get trained in our field in the 1970s and 1980s when that Clean Water Act first came on board. We have some of the original environmentalists. And so, a lot of our workforce is eligible for retirement, and we're going to need to replace those folks. And when you look at the demographics with, population and such, there's going to be a fierce competition for those folks with those STEAM skills. And so, but we want to promote that in our community, get our kids trained up in the right way, and keep our talent here in St. Louis to benefit St. Louis.
Because you've got a huge organization that's definitely going to need folks. Tell us about, folks just dread seeing that bill come in mail.
I know.
I've seen the MSD bill like little bitty for a long time, and all of a sudden it kind of morphed. So how do you guys set these rates? How does this happen? Is there a board that's set up that helps orchestrate this? Is this through elections, or how does this happen?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's most important for folks to know that everybody pays the same rate for the amount of water that they use. So we bill on 100 cubic centimeters of water. Let's just say a gallon. If you use a gallon, everybody pays the same rate for that. So it's based on your water usage, and we get our water data from in the city of St. Louis, City Water.
Right.
In the county, it's Kirkwood Water and Missouri American Water. So we get that water data, and we calculate your bill, and everybody pays the same rates. But in the year 2000, voters made a change to our charter that authorized the creation of what is called a rate commission. And the rate commission is meant to serve as the public's voice in our rate setting process. There are 15 organizations that sit on that commission. Each organization selects an individual to be the commissioner. And when we need to change our rates, we convene the rate commission and present to them a rate proposal. And I think we've been through 4 or 5 rate commission processes, and none of them has a rate commission just accepted without question what we have submitted to them. That commission has their own staff, their own lawyers, their own experts, and so they are well positioned to challenge and go through that proposal with a fine-tooth comb. And so once they approve it, they make a recommendation based on the process. They make a recommendation to our Board of Trustees. And only under very narrow parameters can the board reject or alter that recommendation. So that rate commission is meant to represent the public, the diversity of our community. And believe me, they do get into the details, and they do make changes. Sometimes, we're not happy with the changes, but that is the process, and that's what voters chose as the process.
So the voters are involved, and everyone is involved across the board with reference to how this looks.
Yeah, so voters made the changes to our charter back in 2000, and that's the process we have. But there are things such as like bonds or taxing authority that we do need to go to voters for. But before we get to the voters, just as we had 2 propositions on the ballot back in April of this year, it has to go through our rate commission process. So everything is very thoroughly vetted. We have multiple public hearings. And I would present to you that of all the utilities, we probably have the most public, if you would, in-your-face rate-setting process.
Really? So they get an opportunity to kind of talk about the situation and really go over it and see if this works. And these people, too, that use the service, they understand what it is they're getting into. Tell us about some of the things, and you mentioned just a little bit earlier about the rain gardens. Tell us a little bit more about some of the things that MSD is involved in the community.
Well, rainscaping, that green infrastructure, is very important for us. In the eastern half of the city, we're spending $100 million on that over the next couple of decades in lieu of a deep storage tunnel for stormwater that could have cost well over $1 billion, maybe up to $1.5 billion, if not more.
In lieu of?
In lieu of. So a big cost savings. What has happened from a regulatory perspective EPA over the last decade has started to look at the use of green infrastructure in a different way. In the past, they wanted the tunnels, they wanted what they call gray infrastructure done, but they're starting to see the benefit to alternative methods. From our perspective, it's certainly a cost savings opportunity. It's an opportunity to bring benefits to the community much quicker than we would if we had to take a decade to build a tunnel. But at the same time, if we're going to be building all that green infrastructure and that rainscaping, it's an opportunity to really start a transformation of our built environment in a way that is different than in the past. A lot of what we're learning is that you just can't take all these green spaces and develop houses and businesses, so on and so forth. But if you can design the new development in a different way, you can contribute to neighborhood cohesiveness, hopefully maybe address crime issues. The Missouri Foundation for Health has done some studies that have found your relationship with your neighbors really helps influence your health outcomes, your state of well-being. So if we can influence that, while we're very narrowly focused on achieving our aims, if we can partner with other folks to make these types of things happen by just changing the built environment, I think that's a benefit for all of us that serves more than just the sewer district.
That's awesome. And reaching out to individuals with reference to those jobs that may become available, are you training individuals who, through journeymanships, or are you the contractors that you work with on different projects? Are they responsible for doing that?
So we have two different workforces, if you would. We have our internal workforce that does the engineering, designing, maintains and operates our collection system, and then we have a contracting workforce. Let me talk about the contracting workforce a little bit, because that is who is building the $5 billion in projects. We've partnered with the St. Louis Agency for Training and Employment, SLATE, through the city of St. Louis, to really get into the community and find workers to do this work for us. What we're finding is that as of today, right now, the existing workforce that we draw from, mainly labor unions, we're almost tapping them out in terms of the number of workers they have available. And I think that that's not just us, that's with a lot of the other exciting development construction that's taking place in the city. So there is a need to train up new workers and get people the skills, just as we're talking about STEM. On the construction side of the coin, there is a lot, as a skilled tradesperson, there's a lot of opportunity out there, good paying jobs. There's entities that will help pay for that training. And so we're trying to support that by working with SLATE and other partners in the community as well, because we recognize that our investment of $5 billion, it's not, it's not just a one-year program or two-year program, it's a generational investment. So we want to bring everybody along with us as well.
That's great, because a lot of people, of course, are talking about how can we solve some issues that are going on in the community. So MSD, you are reaching out through an organization or an agency like SLATE to find people who want to work and give them opportunity to train towards that through the contractors and different folks.
And through internal efforts as well. For example, our wastewater treatment plant operators. We have 7 wastewater treatment plants, but it's not like if you don't have as many plants as you would like businesses in the community. So, the folks who come in, they come in, work 20, 30, 40 years, and then they leave. So we don't have a lot of turnover. But again, what we were talking about earlier, we're coming up to that point where a lot of our folks are starting to change out.
You got to turn them over and change out, and you need to bring those folks in. We are running out of time. We could talk forever.
We'll have to do it again.
No, we do. We really do. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, Lance, about MSD, and I want you to come on back. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you really learned something today. We'll see you next time here on City Corner.